Hi, everyone. I'm Jean McDonald, and I help people deal with tough transitions by being a life coach. And my mission is about helping caregivers care for themselves. Right now, I'm putting together a series of these videos on the first set. It'll be communication challenges for caregivers. And this is part one of a three-part series on caregiving skills that you can develop that's going to make this process, this journey as a caregiver, easier on you and also easier on your care receiver and those around you. The first communication challenge that we tend to deal with is how to communicate with the medical and healthcare professionals. In my first video on this, I talked about defining what you don't understand. Well, part two is finding the best way to ask. How do you communicate with your health care professionals? Now, in the case of my brother's seizure, we were trying to take notes, we were trying to ask questions, and they seemed to just say everything's going to be in the my chart, the place where they keep the medical results, the lab results. And I found that no matter how much they talk about, oh, all that information is going to be there, I find that I can never find the answers that I need in those notes from the healthcare providers. So what happened with my brother was he was changing his anti-seizure medication. And during this changeover, he was at a very high risk of having seizures. So we had to reduce the dose of one medicine before introducing the second medicine. Well, we were told that to get him started right away, and then they would give us the procedure, the details of how to proceed through this risky process. And we didn't get any information. So my brother panicked and he started calling the doctor's office and he couldn't get through. He'd leave messages. No one was calling him back. And he was in a panic that was making his situation even more difficult, worsening his symptoms. And finally, I stepped in and he gave me access to his My Chart, which is a nice tool for caregivers to have, is having access so you can go in and let the care team, the medical team, know that this is your concern. Well, I went into My Chart and messaged his healthcare team. And I said, first of all, we were told we were going to get the schedule and we didn't get it. And my brother is very concerned and is having anxiety attacks over this. What do we need to do to get this information? How best can we communicate to you? And within a day, I got a message back from the head nurse of that department. And she explained, first of all, she apologized. They're short-staffed, which is true for many medical facilities. And she goes, we look at the My Chart messages first. So definitely, if something's really critical, of course, call 911. But always contact them through My Chart messaging because they do check that messaging several times a day, almost every hour or so, for and they deal with the priority cases first. If yours doesn't seem to be a big priority, they will in turn get back to you a day or two later. If you don't hear within 2 or 3 days, definitely call the clinic and say, I was told that we would get this information, but do it in that order. With our healthcare professionals, that's the order that they needed that information. And then, since then, actually everything has gone very smoothly because now that head nurse kind of knows us and knows us in a positive way, and that we're trying our best to understand and to work with them and understand their situation. So she's been great, and she does respond to us very quickly now because she knows we're not just that we don't contact her unless it's really important. And if you think about communicating, just letting anyone know, and I'll talk about this in communicating with friends and family, is letting people know how best to communicate to you. For me, text messaging is by far and away the best way to get an urgent message to me because I'll check email maybe once a day. If someone calls, I never answer the phone. It always goes to messaging. And now I've noticed that phone messages are going to text message. So that's actually helping me respond to phone calls quicker. But in general, I don't answer the phone. I just don't. In fact, if you know me, my phone's turned off most of the time. So finding out that's the way to find and get in touch with me. For other people, it'll be different. They don't respond to email, they don't respond to text messages, but they'll respond to that phone call. So with your medical team, find out the best way for you to communicate with them so that it makes your life easier and it makes their life easier. That's it for today. Tomorrow I'll go over part 3 of this challenge of communicating with healthcare professionals. Take care.